Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Healer's Journey. Tonight we are talking about recipes for healing, and let me just tell you a little bit of background on where this comes from, this particular topic, recipes for healing. There is a little recipe in here, and there are other basic what I'm calling recipes. You'll see what I mean by recipes in a few moments. But the truth is that we're just talking about fundamentals. Like if your healing was a Betty Crocker book, one of the real basics of cooking, for example, then you would have all the fundamentals on how to do these things in your cookbook. Well, recipes for healing are sort of the fundamentals for having health, wellness, well-being, wholeness, all of the things we've been talking about for years. And one of the biggest challenges we healers on the healer's journey have is self-care, taking care of ourselves so that we are not as vulnerable to stress and to diet changes and to seasonal changes and what's going on in the world and what's going on in the stars and what's going on in relationships, because all of those energies are so dynamic. And we just fit in there, and we're being sloshed around like we're in the tide, going ebbing and flowing back and forth when we are being acted upon by forces in the universe. And so what you can do instead is take control and access these different recipes, these different fundamentals for healing, so that you feel more whole, better, more energetic, sleep better, and so forth, all of the time. So you don't get hit over the head with what I call the universal hammer. So let's get started. I am Rosemary Levesque. I am the author of Heal Together, Natural Health Solutions for Animals and Their Humans, which is available on Amazon. I'm also a Reiki Master Shaman, Psychic Intuitive, and a Certified Vibrational Sound Master Teacher, which says a lot, except that I am all about vibration. I'm all about wholeness and loving the connection that we have with our animals. So here we go, recipes for healing. Now, recipe, if you look up what is a recipe, well, you're looking for a particular outcome. We call that our intention or goal. And we use particular ingredients. In this case, we're using our tools. And we have some kind of instructions or a daily routine for our recipes. So let's take a look at what that means. Intentions. Now, intentions might easily be overlooked, because I hear all the time from people phrases that are a little bit backwards. You know, they say, oh, I just don't have any time. Okay, well, that becomes your intention, that you don't have time, and you might never have time because you've said that so many times that you won't have time. So when we are phrasing our intentions, we want to make sure that we are using intentions that serve us. And I'd like to suggest in your recipes for healing that you focus on the aspect of releasing, letting go, removing, cleansing, detoxifying, decluttering, detaching. If these are the first part of your intentions, then you're on the right track. It's so easy to be like a magnet in this world, or a dust collector if you prefer that metaphor. The magnet goes around collecting all kinds of energies, yours everybody else's, your kids, your spouse, your family, your coworkers, your stresses of when you're out driving or shopping or on the computer and reading emails and watching the news and doing all of those things. You collect them all, and they all become a part of you, whether you know it or not, whether you realize it or not. They become a part of you. They become a part of your energy, your thought patterns, your subtle background words, your subconscious. And so having the intentions, the fundamental intentions of releasing, letting go, removing, cleansing, detoxifying, decluttering, and detaching will help a lot. So this is your go-to intention in recipes for healing. Now, in letting go, or removing or cleansing, any of those things, releasing, you might wonder, well, what do I let go of? What do I remove? What do I release? And you don't have to know. You can just intend to release everything that does not serve you. In fact, before you go to bed at night, here's your first recipe. I intend to let go of everything that does not serve me from the time that I was born to my first birthday. Wow, we're going to go back, right? We're going to go back to that first year of life when we weren't even perhaps consciously aware of, or have no memory of, having held on to anything. But we did. So you can intend in this first recipe to let go of things that do not serve you from the first year of your physical life right now. Detoxifying is overlooked, underestimated, almost never considered by the medical field, never really looked at in the beginning, unless you have a very sharp practitioner or doctor who is aware of toxins and actually will test for them. I like to suggest that you don't need to test for them. We all have toxins. We all have heavy metals. We all have mercury. We all have radiation. We're all exposed, and yet we're holding on to that too. We were born with it. And babies born today are born with more toxins than we were born with. And on top of that, they're being vaccinated. They're being given formulas and foods that have more toxins in them. So detoxifying is a very important fundamental part of the recipe for healing. And decluttering. How many times have you wished you had more space, or that there weren't piles everywhere, or that you didn't have so much stuff to think about? It doesn't have to be physical stuff. It could be stuff in your mind. Decluttering is an important aspect of healing as well. It's part of that letting go. Detaching. How many times do we have an emotional attachment to something physical? Do you have an emotional attachment to something you used to wear that used to fit you, that hangs in your closet, that isn't working for you anymore? Guess what? That has an energy that is impeding and interfering with your wholeness in some way. If it's not serving you, if it's an emotional thing that you would feel guilty getting rid of, then that might be something to consider actually getting rid of. Donating. Or, donating. That's what I do. I donate. I don't sell anything. If I don't want it, if it is usable and in good condition, I donate it. And it is a way of detaching from things that do not serve me that actually may have use for somebody else. So all of these intentions are basic fundamentals for your recipe for healing. Tools. Well, there are tools that we always have with us. We have our breath. We have our voice and our thoughts. We have our environment that we create inside and outside. We have nature. We have guides and teachers. And all of these tools are with us all the time. So you can access, if you feel stressed, you can access your breath. Take a few moments and breathe deeply. You can access your voice and clear your throat, or shout and stomp and do a few things if you need to, shake even if you have to release some of the stress and let go of some of those things that you don't want attaching to you. Your environment, your space, inside and out, is something that you have as a tool because you can control your environment to a great degree. You can declutter. You can bring plants inside. You can open the window. You can burn Palo Santo. You can set up crystal grids in your home. You can have intention for what your environment should be like. And all of these aspects of your environment are important tools to help you feel protected, safe, whole, and nurtured. Your guides and teachers are also tools. They're with you always, even if you don't feel them, you don't know them by name, you don't know that they're there or don't see them, they are there. And so you can talk to them and you can call upon them. These are tools as well that you have with you all the time. There are tools that you learn or acquire. For example, yes, you have your breath, but what about breathing techniques? Did you know that if you practice breathing techniques, you can expand your lung capacity? You can tune in to how you are feeling and instantly relax your muscles all over your body. You can even use breathing techniques to go into a meditative state. So breathing techniques become a tool, and you can learn how to do that. Choosing and practicing words of empowerment. So often I hear, I can't, or it's impossible, or not right now. I don't have the time. I don't have the money. Don't, can't, impossible are words that are disempowering. So words that would be empowering might be, I can. I am integrating these new tools into my life. I feel wonderful. I feel terrific. I sleep great. So all of these words of empowerment, and even saying no sometimes, is empowering because you're setting up boundaries to help protect your personal space and your time. And saying no sometimes should be without guilt. Because if you really can't, if you know that it's going to be stress for you, if you know that it's going to cause stress on others as well, then no might be the right word. And it can be very empowering to stand there and say very kindly, with compassion, no, not now. You can learn how to meditate, and this is something that I hear from people time and time again is, how do you do that? How do you quiet your mind? They know that quieting the mind is part of meditation, but it's more than quieting the mind. It's recognizing the brain wave that gets you to that spot where all the magic happens. We're in a beta state always when we're awake. When we are sleeping, our brain waves are in a delta state, and somewhere in between, the theta state, is where the meditation magic happens. That's when we can be consciously aware of being awake and having a brain wave that is receptive to guides and teachers who you have with you all the time. So it takes a little practice, but once you get there, you know what it feels like, and you'll be able to go there even faster. So you can learn how to meditate. creating sacred space in your home, office, car, etc. These are important tools that you can learn how to do. And if you only have your intention on creating sacred space, that is enough to get you started. However, there are other ways to create sacred space, and that is a way you can learn. Allowing the presence and awareness of guides and teachers. So many of us who are sensitive want to block out guides and teachers, want to block out spirits who are making themselves known in some way, and know that you are powerful and you do have control, and you can invite and you can allow or you can disallow. It's all up to you, and you can learn how to do all of these things. Tools can be gifts of nature. Minerals especially are very important for all body functions, and there is a mineral I like for detoxification which will pull out all the heavy metals. So ask me about that if that's something you're interested in. Minerals can be replenishing or they can be detoxifying, and some minerals are good for both. Plants, another gift of nature, can be used as part of the interior environment in your home and as an essential oil. Plant medicine in essential oil form is magical, concentrated, and you get the essence, you get the life force of the plant in the essential oil, which brings about all of the magic for what you want to do and using it as a tool. Maybe it's for relaxation. Maybe it's for supporting the immune system in some way. Maybe it's antibacterial or anti-inflammatory. There's an oil I like, especially copaíba, from a tree in Brazil that will relax because it's full of cannabinoids. Even though it's not cannabis, it's got CBDs in it. Crystals and beautiful elements, art, music, these are important aspects, important tools and gifts of nature that can be incorporated into your recipe for healing, and I recommend it. It's wonderful to look at beautiful artwork. You surround yourself with things that please you, sounds that are pleasing. If it's not the news, turn it off. If it's something you want to hear, or maybe some tuning forks, then play them. Play them for yourself and include it as part of your recipe. The daily routine is also an important part of the recipe. Practices and habits, your journal, your priorities, your mission and sense of purpose are all part of your daily routine that show up in your recipe for healing. Habits and practices. For example, find the times that conflict with the highest expression of your wholeness and make adjustments that reflect who you really are. Now let's pause for a moment and think about that. I'm asking you to find the times that conflict with the highest expression of your wholeness. What might that be? What is the highest expression of your wholeness? Well, if you're a mom, a wife, a dad, a brother, you have an identification based on your relationships to the people around you. But who are you? What is your wholeness? Are you healthy and well? Are you wealthy? Are you beautiful? Are you strong? What are these high vibrations that are the highest expression of your wholeness? What is the best you? And it might not be what is being expressed right now, especially if you're under stress or if you're not feeling well, but your wholeness and well-being is magnificent, and we're looking for that expression. Now, there are things that are getting in the way of you achieving your wholeness. What are those conflicts? Is it too much work? Is it not eating the right foods? Is it not taking the time for exercise? If you notice these things, if you find these times that conflict with your wholeness, identify it and make adjustments that reflect who you really are. So if it's finding time to breathe, do breathing or meditation exercises, or finding time to be outside in nature, or finding time to do kind acts for other people because they make you feel good, then that is helping you express the highest expression of your wholeness. So find those times that conflict with that and make adjustments. It won't happen all at once. It doesn't need to. But if you're moving in that direction, you'll find a big difference in your recipe for well-being. Journal. Practice thinking or writing the answer to, who am I? And notice how you feel about what you decide. One of the hardest things I did many years ago was try to figure that out. Who am I? I had to write an About Me page on a new website that I was doing nearly 20 years ago. And nobody had ever asked me who I was. I never had to really tell anybody who I was because I was me based on who I knew, based on my role in life. And it might be a wonderful challenge for you to ask yourself, who am I? And notice how you feel about that description of who you are. Your journal is your place to write your dreams, your ideas, and your coincidences. Now, I call them coincidences and tell you also that I don't really believe there are coincidences. There are wonderful happenings, there are magical connections, there are things that come our way that are really meant to be there. They're really opportunities. They're not coincidences. Opportunities for us to engage, to say yes or to say no. And these coincidences or opportunities can be written about in your journal. Priorities. Are you in alignment with good and what is good for you? If you are in alignment with the good and the good for you, then that is a priority, right? If you're trying to find a recipe for healing, you're looking for what is good. That is the highest vibration. That's what we're trying to achieve, is a higher vibration within ourselves and within our environment, and that's part of the recipe for healing. So we're looking for high vibrations. We're looking at something that's more than survival. So many people I talk to are just surviving. Their energy levels are not optimal. Their chakras are out of balance. Their energy centers are feeling a little off. And we want more than survival. We want more than good enough. And we want more than do no harm. So what are your priorities? Your priorities go into your recipe for healing. Your sense of purpose is so important to your recipe for healing. What is your motivation for getting out of bed, for going to work, for living? What is your sense of purpose? Are you inspired? Are you creative? Is your family part of your sense of purpose? Joy, love, these are important high vibrations, and yet so many of us put these vibrations aside. We sacrifice ourselves, we sacrifice our mood, we sacrifice our sleep and our well-being when we give up on our motivation and inspiration and creativity. These are fundamental aspects for the recipe for healing. So focusing on the joy and love, focusing on the high vibrations in your sense of purpose is important. Let your emotions guide you. Abraham Hicks talks about your emotional guidance system. And the emotional guidance system can let you know if you're going in the right direction or the wrong direction. Does it feel right? Does it feel good? Then do that. Let joy and love be your guide, not stress, regret, need. Those aren't high vibrations. And the benefits of all of this? Relieving stress, feeling rejuvenated, better sleep, better mood, productivity, energy level, and all of those wonderful things will come into alignment when you get the recipes for healing in the way we're talking about. So let's see where this brings us. Here's a morning recipe. Do you awaken with a sense of calm? Imagine that if when you opened your eyes before you got out of bed, you awakened with a sense of calm rather than a sense of urgency, rather than a sense of, oh, it's going to be a hard day. No, you're going to awaken with a sense of calm, allowing the day to unfold at your pace. You breathe with intentions, inhaling and exhaling. Don't let yourself be breathed. You control the breathing. You inhale and exhale. You let go of all the things that don't serve you. Drink water when you get up. You've been sleeping for hours without drinking any water. You need to hydrate. And you need your minerals, too. Those are things that are fundamental recipes. I didn't say minerals in there, but add your minerals to your water, or a mineral spray that I have is wonderful as well. Drinking water to get yourself rehydrated. Move, stretch, bring fluids into your joints. When you move your body in circular motions, moving your joints, for example, if you move your wrist around so your hand moves in a circle. Now move your elbow around. Now move your shoulder around. When you move your joints in this way, you are bringing fluids into the joints and helping to loosen up. You're bringing energy into parts of the body where energy gets stuck. So add that to your morning recipe. When you shower, it's not just showering to cleanse your body. You want to shower to cleanse your energy as well. So you can envision that shower washing away all that does not serve you, washing it down into the drain, and letting it go into the earth to be reprocessed, to be transformed. So cleansing your energy, letting it go with the intention in your shower, it's a perfect place to do that. And if you do Reiki as well, if you practice Reiki, put Reiki on your shower head and let yourself take a shower with Reiki. When you eat, eat consciously, choosing whole foods and supplements rather than going for the processed things that come in a package or a box. You would like to have perhaps something raw fruits and vegetables, some plain meats or eggs, some whole grains if you like grains. Rather than cooked, try raw and see how that feels to you. You're going to get more nutritional value from that. So that's a morning recipe example. I'd love to know how your morning recipe works out for you. An afternoon recipe might be taking time to be outside. You should add perhaps play to work and take breaks. There are sayings about work, how all work no play makes Jack a dull boy. Well, it's not easy for anybody to do all work, and actually your work should be joyful. Your work shouldn't really be work. It should be something you love, love, love. And if you have that beautiful opportunity, then you're already doing that part of your life purpose. But if your work is a stepping stone to get to where you want to go, then honor that. That's an important part too. But in the meantime, be sure to add play to work and make sure you take breaks. Prioritize according to your written plan. Now, we didn't talk about this before, but if you write down some of the things that you need to do or need to get done, that takes the pressure off of having to remember them. And unless you're very good at remembering, but having it written down is a very good idea. Having even a list by your bed if you like, so that if you wake up thinking of something, write it down, forget about it, go back to sleep. Make allowances for extras. There are always things that come up. There are emergency calls. There's, oh, I got to do this, I got to do that. Make allowances for those extras. And don't have any guilt if you don't get your list done quite the way you thought you were going to get it done, or maybe it won't be done at all. That's okay. Make allowances for that without the guilt. And keep your energy up with hydration and foods, preferred over caffeine and processed foods. An evening recipe. Please, no guilt for incomplete tasks. Just allow for completion at the right time. And that's a beautiful intention, completion at the right time. And it might be that you're not supposed to complete that. Maybe you're supposed to complete something else. So allow for that flexibility for the flow of energy. Relaxation away from electronic devices, the television, etc. Getting away from electronic devices not only is good for your personal energy, it's also good for your eyes. It's good for calming your nerves. It helps you go into that meditative state so that you can prepare yourself for a good night's sleep. As I mentioned before, there is a value to lists. Organize, save time, relieve stress and worry if you have your list. And just use it as a guideline, not as another stress tool that says, oh no, I didn't get my list done. Don't worry about it. There is a value, but there isn't any regret. Always, always offer gratitude for everything that comes your way. I was speaking to somebody recently about a gratitude list or a gratitude book, just to help shift the vibration for that person. It was important to understand that not everything is stressful, not everything is fearful, as this person was asking for protection and healing. I suggested gratitude. And, you know, that's not always the first thing on people's mind when they're in a tough situation. You know, they might be thinking, what do I have to be thankful for? I'm in this hole and I can't get out. Why should I be thankful, right? But if we start with gratitude and look for the little itty-bitty things that we can be grateful for, it begins to shift the energy, and it's a beautiful part of the evening recipe. Meditation, I've said that more than once today, and personal healing. Reiki, chakra balance exercises, yoga perhaps, or even just soaking in a bath can be part of your personal healing. And all of these are part of a beautiful evening recipe for healing. And I thought it would be fun to include even just a simple recipe for bath salts. This is one that I made a while back, and I love to make it from time to time. It's very simple. It has Epsom salts. There's a mixture of other sea salt. There's Mediterranean sea salt and Himalayan mineral salt in there as well. It looks like that one has black Hawaiian salt in there too. And with these salts, you can add essential oils. I use Young Living essential oils. You can add a citrus blend that has a little bit of mint in there as well, spearmint and peppermint, and find that this is a refresh and renew recipe, very revitalizing to soak in Epsom salts. You get the minerals, you get detoxification properties, and you get the uplifting fragrances of citrus, naturally a feel-good aroma. You can use a half a cup to 1 cup of bath salts in warm water. Always mix your essential oils with the salts so that you're not stepping into hot water with oils that can sometimes feel too much on your skin. So mix them with the salt first and enjoy the bliss. Affirmations are also a part of your recipe. I am. I have. These are phrases, beginnings of phrases that we need to take seriously. Whenever you say I am or I have, it's true. You are that, whether you believe it or not. Now, many of us get into that pit or that hole of I am not safe, or I feel ill, or I have a particular disease, or I need protection. And you go into this, you go deeper into this hole when you use those as affirmations. But find the words that are negative and see if you can turn them around into a positive statement. For example, for the person who is not well, he can say, I appreciate all of my healthy cells in their beautiful functioning to move me toward total wellness. Something like that, expressing gratitude. I am whole and healed. Wow, I am whole and healed. How powerful is that, even if it isn't believed just yet? It's like for when we started out in our webinar tonight, and I said, I release everything that no longer serves me in the first year of my life. And I go to bed thinking that and sleeping that and affirming that, not knowing what didn't serve me in the first year of my life, but I let it go. I don't have to know. It's an energy. It's not a thing. It's an energy. And so for us to say, I am healed and whole, if I am healed and whole, expressing the highest vibration of myself and my wholeness, then that's an energy too. And we can hold on to that. It's important, and it is an important part of the recipe for healing. So overlooked. Please include this in your recipe for healing. Now, where do we go from here? There are many people who are struggling, who are trying to find the words, who are trying to find the tools and establish patterns and habits. Now, the best way is to find somebody that you are in alignment with that will help teach you, will show you. You can join classes at a yoga studio or find yoga classes online. You can find meditation CDs or books that can help get you started. Or you can learn Reiki. You can learn how to be with crystals and oils and energies, and learn how to say intentions, and learn how to use affirmations, and learn how to use tuning forks. All of these are opportunities that are out there. It is no coincidence that you are listening to this webinar. Take advantage of the opportunities and find the wholeness that is all around you and is waiting to become a part of you, manifest in physical form. We have classes and workshops coming up. Our next Reiki class is early January. We try to have Reiki classes at least once a month. Sensory intuition workshops. Here's where you can learn more tools about improving your intuitive abilities, your sense of awareness for energies that are all around you. Also, vibrational sound healing classes. I've got a Phase 2 class coming up at the end of February, and another Phase 1 class coming up shortly after that. I'll try to offer those a few times during the year so that we can move toward the Phase 3, which is repairing DNA and RNA, and working with the Akashic Records, working with ancestral DNA as well in the Phase 3 sound healing classes. Also, you can get your wings for our Illuminated Healer series. We have a wing activation coming up. That is December 16 in Portland, Oregon, and we'll do that again soon in Sedona, Arizona. It's going to involve sacred ceremony, and we'll be including some ceremony on the winter solstice as well. Where will your path lead you? Where will your intentions lead you? Where will your recipes for healing lead you to wholeness and well-being? We honor you on your path. The best way to reach me is through my website, secondnaturehealing.com, and certainly email me or give me a call, rosemary@secondnaturehealing.com. If you are not receiving the Healer's Journey webinar directly, you can join my list, get on my list for the webinar, and all of the recorded webinars will be sent directly to your inbox so that you can listen to them at your leisure. If you are on live, by the way, before and after our webinars, there's time for questions and answers, general conversation that people really enjoy. So you get to talk with each other and talk with me about any concerns or questions that you have. Thank you so much for being here. I appreciate you and your time. Please drop me a line and let me know how you are doing on your healer's journey. Take care. Bye-bye.